Hello and welcome to Surveyor Says, the podcast from the National Society of Professional Surveyors. Each week, we bring you fascinating guests that are involved in the profession of surveying. My name is Tim Burch, and I'm the Executive Director for the National Society of Professional Surveyors and your host for the podcast. Subscribe to the podcast on most of your favorite streaming platforms, as well as our podcast host, Podbean. For more information about the podcast and NSPS, please visit our website, nsps.us.com. So, without further delay, here's our next episode of Surveyor Says, the NSPS Podcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of Surveyor Says. I'm your host, Tim Burch. Yep, back in the office, back in the studio, trying to catch up on a few things. And we're so busy that, unfortunately, we didn't even get time to get locked in with a guest this week. However, I think it's best that we take a breather, because there's been so much going on. You know what? Thought we would take a few minutes here to catch up on all that's going on in the surveying world, around NSPS, around a few other things that we're watching, we're dealing with, and just keep you up to speed on what's going on. All right. That's 2 weeks ago. We were just coming off of our NSPS Spring Business Meeting, our annual lobby day on the Hill, and then the 25th annual NSPS National Student Competition held on the National Mall right by the Washington Monument and throughout the district, doing a scavenger hunt for significant monuments throughout the district. 24 teams from 18 states. And let me tell you, for the middle of April, it was hot. The Tuesday, it was pushing 90. Wednesday, it was slightly over, except it was a little more overcast, so it wasn't so bad. But boy, was it hot. Went through a lot of water, went through a lot of sandwiches. But the student competitors and the YSN volunteers stuck with it. It was actually a great day, both days, for all teams, whether you were on the scavenger hunt or was out on the National Mall. Really, really good competition. It was amazing how close the scoring was through everything, through the scavenger hunt, through the field exercises, which comprise this year of a compass and chain traverse, a 3-wire level, a robotic total station layout, and then a GNSS calculations of a parcel. So it was close, very close. And if you haven't already seen it somewhere, here was the results of how the teams fared. So got to remember, there's two divisions: a baccalaureate division and an associate division. In the baccalaureate division, it was the Penn State University at University Park. Their team took first. University of Akron took a close second. Not defending their title, but still nothing to be ashamed of. And coming in also at a close third was the University of Florida. In the associate division, I got to give a little shout out to an old friend of mine who is the advisor there at Parkland College, Corey Allred. Great job bringing the team in. You told me you were going to go for it when you got there, and I shouldn't have doubted you for a second. Second place, once again, very close scoring, Clark College. And third, once again, placing Klein-Collins High School from Texas. Amazing jobs by all students, but just also a big shout out to the Klein-Collins High School and their advisors and their supporters. And the fact that they're bringing in a high school team once again and doing very, very well on the national stage is excellent. Something else that took place during the student competition, our friends at NGS once again were up at the Benchmark A, otherwise known as the Mini Monument. We had it open and was doing a little press junket of what that monument was all about, how it was established during the construction of the monument. It was actually above ground at that time and was eventually encased in a brick manhole lid on it, and takes a pretty heavy manhole hook to get that thing open, and the permission of the National Park Service. So it was good to see that. Like I said, A lot of people don't even know it's there. A lot of surveyors have heard about it, never seen it. I finally got to see it a couple of years ago. Just something about it. The fact that it's been set, 160 years ago was really, really cool. Also, we'd like to thank the sponsors of the student competition, especially Control Point Associates. They really stepped up this year. They were the title sponsor of the student competition, and we really appreciate all that they have done for the students, for the YSN, and making sure that this competition went off very, very well. Also, a shout out to Trimble, who provided the prizes, the bowls, the crystal, and the prize money. More importantly, the prize money. So thank you again, Trimble. On the Mark Surveying, Nolan Mark and his wife Shannon ponied up to help with the social for the students and the young surveyors. QK4 also did. Dioptra and Stuart Ward, once again, big supporter of the student competition. And Ralph Gromley, new sponsor this year, just called up out of the blue and said, I want to help. I want to do something. So made a significant donation and was able to help offset the costs of the student competition. So we thank them all for that. Also going on those days, Tuesday, April 14th, we gathered at the steps of the U.S. Capitol for our annual Day on the Hill event. Ended up having 105 attendees from 45 states. We visited 160 legislative offices and advocated on the main issues we have for the profession. We're still after some licensing standards, still looking at a sense of the Congress letter, infrastructure investment, workforce development, and a recognition really of what the critical role surveyors play in American society. However, one big takeaway was an issue that we were up there promoting, is almost no one is aware of the alpha-gal syndrome disease. It's when you're bitten by a deer tick, very, very Lone Star deer tick, and you end up becoming allergic to meat and other products, milk, dairy products. You can get very, very sick. There's no known cure. What we're trying to do is get legislation passed. It has been introduced, but we're going to help try to promote it and get it passed to have the alpha-gal syndrome recognized as a known disease, because unfortunately right now people that are getting it and getting diagnosed with it, because it's not defined by the CDC and the FDA as a disease, there are some insurance companies that are declining to cover medical expenses for treating this disease. So we need to be able to get out in front of it and make sure that this legislation gets passed so we can, anybody, surveyors especially, we're the ones out in the field, out in the wild more than anyone, just about, and we have the likelihood of getting bitten by any tick. And that goes as far as for Lyme disease and Rocky Mountain spotted fever as well. There is an overall push for advocacy and awareness of ticks, but the alpha-gals are a really big push this year. Other highlights from our spring business meeting, we ended up getting a very comprehensive report from NGS, specifically Dan Gillens, Galen Scott, and Dr. Marion Wesley. They provided the board of directors a very, very thorough and very enlightening update to the NSRS modernization, where things stand, what are the next steps, what really needs to happen to make sure that we reach this goal of early 2027, being able to flip that switch for the new coordinate systems, for the new datums, and really make this work. So a big shout out and thanks to NGS for being there through all of that. Something else that happened at the board of directors that I'm very, very pleased and proud to have seen happen, the NSPS Young Surveyors Network, YSN, they were voted in to have an actual voting seat on the board, just like every state, just like every other director that sits on the board of directors. The young surveyors will now have a voice and have the ability to bring forward motions, bring forward ideas, concepts, and be able to present them on the floor of the board of directors and maintain a presence no different than any other affiliate. So kudos to the YSN for sticking it out, making sure we got this done, and because we really want to see how well they adapt and really bring more and more good ideas to the table and not just sit out on the sideline. So like I said, kudos to them again. Glad to have a seat at the table. A couple of things that were discussed at the board of directors was a continuation of two things. We do an annual map plaque contest, and we also do an annual journalism contest. The map plaque contest consists of exactly that. It is a contest where anybody can actually send in a map plat to be judged in the following categories of subdivision, boundary cadastral, topography, land title surveys, miscellaneous, and I'm going to propose a new one. I've seen this one pop up at a couple other states, and I think this one would be really, really interesting and not easy to do. How about let's show us your fancy north arrows. Let's see what the north arrows look like. So we want to do that one as well. The journalism, that consists of a state newsletter, magazine, feature article, and an editorial. And we're going to open it up this year to even if you're beyond just a state affiliate, if you've had an article done for your local newspaper or for your local civic club, what have you, let's get those turned in. Let's get those reviewed, and let's get the more content that we can judge against each other and provide a pretty good contest, but B, then also we can share these stories and all of this content that much more across all of the U.S., all of our affiliates, and become that much more aware of everything that's going on with the great writing that's being done. So my plea out to you all that possibly are listening to this, that the map plaque contest will continue to go forward, digital submissions only. And this will all be updated on the registration form here shortly, and then also the journalism contest. Let's do digital submissions as well to go along with the registration. They're going to be due on July 31st. This will all be on the website. It'll all be part of some things that we're going to go forward with. I think this is going to be a good time to kind of revitalize some things. And like I said, I'd like to see the north arrows. I'm introducing that category. We'll add it to the registration page and show us your talent, show us your creativities. Really like to see what you've got going on. Next up, something we talked about on and off at the spring business meetings, how big the state association trading cards have gotten. We did our initial release back in February at Geo Week and was overwhelmingly popular, and we had a lot of traffic there. We've now also have stickers for the characters that are for the kids, for your water bottles, for your computers, what have you. They're very, very popular. We had all the cards out and stickers out on the table at the board of directors meeting, and boom, 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 whoosh, they went out. The only thing I'd like to say is that, unfortunately, when we put this initiative out, we asked the states to participate. We've fronted all the costs to get them designed, to get them printed, to get their information out to the masses. But we only had 14 of the 50 states that would actually wanted to participate. So, this is a call out to those remaining states that would like to go ahead and still participate. We're still here. We still have got them going. We're still going to promote. But by participating and making that donation to NSPS, you become part of the program. You get 1,000 cards. You get a blog spotlight on our website. You get several social media posts and content regarding of featuring your state affiliate. Would really like to see more states jump on. So, however, though, we had a contest a few weeks back. And we put the 14 participating states out on our social channels and had people vote and gave us their top 5 of the characters they found, the most inviting, the ones they like the best. And Drum roll, please. In fifth place was New York with their Lady of Liberty, Libby. Number 4 was Utah with their Dinosaur. Number 3 was Illinois with Honest Abe, good old Honest Abe. Number 2, Florida with their Gator. And number 1, Tennessee. That one was a pretty good one. Everybody seemed to go for that. Obviously, the majority of votes went to Tennessee. So what we're going to do is we're going to end up having some T-shirts made of these characters, and for those the first come first serve, we're going to do them on a limited run basis. They will be for a small donation to our actually to the Scouting Fund, our youth awareness. It's going to go towards the Scouts Jamboree. So be looking for that social media post here shortly. That any money we make, any profits that we get going towards those, will be going straight to the scholarship fund for the youth outreach, which helps fund the Scouting Jamboree in July. Next up, well, unless you've been under a rock or don't pay attention to anything surveying, you should have seen, heard, read something about the announcements for the ALTA NSPS Land Title Survey Standards. It's another 5 years has passed, and so the 2026 standard is now out. We have it all covered for you. Everything you need to really know about the updates to the standards, it's on the NSPS webpage. It's under its own land title survey link. We've got the new version PDF. We got the new version in red lines, so you see what is different from 21 to 26. We've done all the podcasts with Gary Kent for all the sections, and now we've got videos as well of all of the sections that basically mimic the podcast, but also then go through some of the stuff graphically as Gary goes through it. So check out the page on nsps.us.com. Anything you need to know there, FAQs, it's all there. Please check it out. And if you ever have any questions about something ALTA, send it to us. We are glad to help, disseminate your question and find that answer. Now, one thing I will say, we knew it was coming, kind of a passing of the torch. So be it. Gary Kent, after a long time, we've got we don't even count it anymore, how many years he's been the chair of the NSPS side of the Land Title Survey Standards Committee. Gary is stepping down from the chair. He's still going to stay very involved in the actual review and updates through 3030. But Mike McEvely, our director from Washington, he has taken over that role as chair of that committee. So collectively, between the NSPS office, between Gary Kent, between Mike, and a few others that are always willing to help, send us your questions. If you have anything that comes up about the new standards, or even just anything about the standards that you may have questions on, send it to us, and we'd be glad to help. All right, another thing that has happened that you may or may not know about. There was a couple of cases the last few years, 2 separate cases, one in California, one in North Carolina. The California case was a website called mysiteplan.com. They were taking GIS information, readily available, putting it into somebody that would hire them into basically a sketch using GIS line work, aerial photography, contours from public domain sources, and creating a site plan with dimensions on the houses, dimensions on the buildings, dimensions to the property lines, but then across the bottom put a nice little, this is not a plat of survey. Well, if it looks like a survey, walks like a survey, quacks like a survey, well, it's a survey. And the California Board of Registration thought so too. Sent this gentleman a cease and desist and fined him. This gentleman took the board to court, lost, took the board to the appellate court, lost. Took the board to the Supreme Court of California, lost. And okay, we'll stop there for the time being. Let's go to California, and it's the 360 drone service doing a similar service. Unlicensed surveyor out with their UAV, their new fancy software that allows them to do photogrammetry and create some line work, create topography, what have you. Was offering surveying services, topography services, surveying without a license. Well, the argument was from the North Carolina guy, which in turn was also then parroted by the California lawsuit. It falls under free speech. That First Amendment right, free speech. That if somebody wants to fly something, create contours, create images, create whatever, it's their right as free speech to present that information. North Carolina Board of Registration disagreed. Fined him. Sent him a letter of cease and desist. Once again, the drone pilot took it to court, lost. Took it to the appellate court, lost. Took it to the high court, lost. All right, now we get our friends at the Institute of Justice, and I say that friends facetiously. They decide they put these two court cases together. They're both fighting on the basis of freedom of free speech, and they apply to the U.S. Supreme Court to have this heard as a fight against their free speech. Well, NSPS had joined in with several other organizations around the country and putting together an amicus brief saying that why this does not violate First Amendment rights, why it is a professional service, why we are licensed, why we are educated, and have the experience to be able to do this work. It's setting a bad precedent to even think about going that way. So we put that amicus brief together, and so what ended up happening was the case was submitted with these two cases together put together in one case, submitted to the U.S. Supreme Court, and sat on their list. This was put in there middle of last year. Well, we just got a ruling a week ago Monday that the case will not be heard by the Supreme Court. And what it is basically is it's denying it. So the U.S. Supreme Court's declined to hear an appeal, leaving the lower court's rulings intact. So that means the highest court that's listened to both of these cases, in which the boards won, plaintiffs lost, that's what stays intact. It doesn't imply an approval of the lower decision, but simply that fewer than 4 justices voted to not to review the case. Or fewer than 4 justices voted to review the case. Therefore, there wasn't enough to justify have them ruin the case. Now the decision's final, cannot be appealed, therefore ending the federal process. It's really a shame that it's went that far. I'm curious to see what's next, what tact Institute for Justice and the 2 plaintiffs will take. But we'll see. In the meantime, this is a win for professional licensing. This really cannot. I just cannot believe that we're talking about this in this day and age. But you know what? I give them credit for trying something. But bottom line is, nope, not going to happen. Can't work. All right. Next up on the agenda, if you haven't been paying attention as well, is NSPS is partnering with actually the marketing team that we hired last year to do all of our content, to do all of our marketing. Elaine Ball Limited, she has has created, and this is going on for 7 or 8 years now. She has something that's called the Geospatial Marketing Academy. And what she's done is she's revamped it and made it even more accessible online. And it's now called GMA 2.0. And so what NSPS has done is we've partnered with her to promote it, to help, and we're endorsing it and helping get our surveying professionals in a place where if they're in a position to market whether it's their company, whether it's their department, whether it, whatever it may be, teach them some marketing skills that make surveying in a geospatial business that much more visible, that much more accessible. And so far it's been a pretty good success. We've even got a couple of NSPS directors that have signed up and are very happy with the results they've been getting. It really puts the onus back on the business side that we sometimes don't truly. We think we know how to market, we think we know how to get our name out there, but in this day and age, with all of the electronic communication, all the content that needs to be created, it's really a good way to learn more about how to successfully market your business and plan ahead. So if you haven't need any more information, check it out on our website, nsps.us.com. Search on GMA and you'll find all the information you need there. Next up, America 250 celebrations. What is your state doing? What is your city doing? What's your county doing? What are you doing to celebrate America 250? Well, it's kicking off. We did the America 250 with some of the stuff during National Surveyors Week back in March. This coming week, May 1st and 2nd, I will be in Boise, Idaho. They are doing a statewide proclamation. We're actually going to the Boise initial point, the Meridian, and there's going to be a celebration there commemorating 250 years of the United States. Going to be a small ceremony with some of the local dignitaries, including the Idaho governor. Then the following day, there's going to be a bigger celebration about America 250 at the old Idaho Penitentiary. It's the first penitentiary that was built in Idaho. It's now a landmark. It's been refurbished, a gathering place. It's going to be a large gathering for America 250, expecting a lot of kids, a lot of people that are going to be exposed to the Bureau of Land Management, surveying, everything geospatial. So looking forward to being out there with the Idaho Society, with Stuart and Jeremy, our NSPS representatives. Should be a good time. Looking forward to it. We'll share some pictures and some info next week in the newsletter. Looking forward to being out there and really kicking the America 250 stuff off. And as we do things, please send your information in. Let us know how you're celebrating, because we want to see how we're going to celebrate America 250. I know it's a small amount of time considering some of the countries around the world, but hey, this is the one country we've got. Let's celebrate it. NSPS is going to culminate all of our America 250. Our fall business meeting is going to be in Deadwood, South Dakota, and we're going to do a special celebration on Monday, October 19th, I believe is the date, at Mount Rushmore. We're going to have a special program. We're going to unveil a commemorative disc that we're going to be doing in conjunction with the Park Service, with NGS, with the South Dakota Society. Really looking forward to being able to get together surveyors from across the country and celebrate the America 250. But that'll be at the end of the year, and we're hoping that we hear more and more stuff throughout the year. So to go along with that, come to NSPS. Look at our website. We're going to be posting up. We've got NSPS America 250 merch. It's coming. We've got it in-house. We're going to get it posted up. We got long and short sleeve t-shirts. We got polos. We got quarter zips, lapel pins, stickers, drink tumblers, and we're going to be putting a few other things together. Come to our site. We're going to have it on the e-store. All the proceeds from that are going to go once again to the youth outreach for the Scouting Jamboree in July. Come check it out. It's really, really cool. What I like about the t-shirts, we put together a nice logo that you can find on the website. It's the four presidents from from Mount Rushmore, but they're actually get kids into survey cartoon characters. And they're each of the 3 presidents that were surveyors are holding surveying equipment, and Teddy Roosevelt's holding the American flag, and it's really, really good. Hope you're going to be able to check it out and enjoy it. We've got all range of sizes, so if you even got stuff that you would want to get for your kids, check it out. They're a lot of fun, and we look forward to being able to supply that stuff to you to help you celebrate America 250. Also, if you're exhibiting at a job or career fair, doesn't have to be America 250 specific, but just let us know. We've got all kinds of swag that we can give to you for any range of ages of kids, from elementary to high school. Let us know. We put a package together depending on the size of your outing. All you pay for is the shipping. We've got donors that have been very, very generous that have allowed us to put together this swag, and really would like to be able to get this stuff in your hands to help tell your story. Every surveyor has a story. Go out and tell it. Tell that to a kid that can relate to that and really understand what's going on, and how things get built in the world, how things are measured, how things are established. Surveyors usually the first one's in, last one's out. Have the swag there to help tell that story. Check us out. Let us know what we can do to help, and we'll get that shipped out to you. All right. Last but certainly not least, this is breaking news. You're going to see it here shortly. But the NSPS Young Surveyors Network, YSN as we so lovingly call them, well, apparently Surveyor Says isn't good enough for them. No, just kidding. They want to do a podcast from their perspective, from their point of view. And so they're putting it together as we speak. What it's going to consist of is they're going to have 3 hosts. It's going to be Stacy Pollock from Michigan, Stuart Ward from Idaho, and Nolan Mark from Indiana. This is going to be more of a low-key discussion and really talking about the topics and the items of the day. A couple times a month, they're going to get together and do this. We're going to solicit ideas for discussion topics. What's working for you out there as a young surveyor, whether you're a millennial, whether you're Gen Z, whether you're even the younger ones coming in through high schools and college. It's going to be. They tell me it's going to be a little more raw than these conversations, which is fine. It's going to be more about real life and what the successes, what the struggles for young surveyors. Like I said, production and the recording is underway. So watch the YSN channels and the NSPS socials for more details. They promise to be good, but they've said it's going to be a little more off the chain, and that pun was intended than what you listen to here. So time will tell, but we are we're having fun putting it together in the meantime. So wait for that to come in anytime, sometime in the near future. Well, that being said, this will wrap it up for this episode of From the Director's Desk. Wanted to catch you up on a few things. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully this was insightful. Bottom line is we're trying to do more and more that can get information out into the surveyor's hands that is useful, and some of the news that you may not hear, that you may not see on your typical channels. So if there's anything else that they think that we need to touch on, please feel free. We've always got we're always open for ideas on things to talk about, people to talk about. Shoot us an email at info@nsps.us.com. If you're a person that's got a great story to tell, got an idea to talk about, really want and anything about education as well, hit us up. We'd like to be able to talk to those people that are the movers and shakers of the surveying profession, right here and now, because if we don't get a hold of it now, somebody else will, and we are not going to like where it's going to go because we're not in control of it. So, all right, well, that'll wrap it up for this episode of Surveyor Says. Wherever you listen to the podcast and possibly watch it on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you. You've been listening to Surveyor Says, the NSPS Podcast, brought to you by the National Society of Professional Surveyors. If you have any questions about today's episode or any other topic, please email us at info@nsps.us.com, as we are here to help. Subscribe to the podcast on most of your favorite streaming platforms, as well as our podcast host, Podbean. For more information about the podcast and NSPS, please visit our website, nsps.us.com. And remember, it's a great day to be a surveyor.